Success Radio USA's Profiles of Success is brought to you in part by the 365 Grand Club, Colorado Springs' only elite urban downtown club. Don't like having to park downtown? Don't like paying full price for great dining? Hate working out in crowded gyms? Use your 365 Grand Club card and forget all of that. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Go there today and join the club, the 365 Grand Club. And now let's join your hosts of Profiles of Success, Chuck Bader and Jerry Evans.
Welcome to part 2 of Profiles of Success with Bob Landry. I'm your host, Chuck Bader, along with our co-host,
Jerry Evans, and now it's part 2, right?
Part 2, to be continued kind of thing, live. And
will there be a part 3, 4, 5, and 6?
We're hoping so, because, 20 years of listening to what Bob has listened to, there's probably a part 10, honestly. I went to one of his classes last Thursday or Friday?
It was Friday.
Friday, and there's a lot of volumes of material here.
Well, you know what they say, parts is parts.
Yep.
Okay. Parts is parts.
Parts is parts. I've heard that before. Somewhere.
Well, anyway, we do want to thank everybody for joining us here on Profiles of Success. Remember, you can find us by going to our Facebook page at Success Radio USA, or by going to our website at successradio.us. And we'd invite you to register, and I do mean register with us.
Don't just think about it, do it.
For free. We really want you to do that, okay? I know there's a lot of people out there, they're sitting there going, I don't want to do this.
Just talking, waiting to do that. It's like, no, take action.
Get on there. I think you'll really get a big benefit from this, okay? You'll get a free ebook download as our gift to you. And now that you're one of those who take success seriously, you can subscribe to Success Radio USA for only a few dollars a month. And that is how much?
$3.99 per month, less than $1 a week.
That's right. And have total
pocket change.
Pocket change. I wish I had some pocket change.
Well, you can get some by listening to our show and learning our valuable content. And
thank you very much. And you can have total access to our show's archives on demand
24/7.
And our Success Library of ebooks, which are also free to members.
When you're ready to listen, we're there for you. It's Profiles of Success.
Bada bing.
Bada bing, alrighty.
I'm not going to say what the other guy says on that hotel commercial.
Bada boom, that's what it was.
We can't steal those slogans,
Right, get sued or something like that, I guess,
right? They have copyrights on them.
Well, as you remember, we had Bob Landry on our show a few weeks ago, and it was so fantastic and so much content-driven that we couldn't squeeze it all into 1 hour. So we had to have Bob come back here, and we appreciate you coming back, Bob. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate you having me. Yeah, it was a lot of fun last time, and I'm excited to be back with you guys today.
Now, one good thing that I like about Bob is he has, and this is what we talk about in the show too, understanding what you're really going for here. It's not just making more money and cars and blah, 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 blah. It's about having a good quality of life and serving others so they can have a good quality of life, so they can serve others, and on and on and on. That's what it's about. And I had the privilege of Bob inviting me to one of his presentations last week called Prep Connect 360 for veterans who are having a hard time going from the military world to the civilian world. And Bob and I went through that when we transitioned out. So here's the guy who's kind of being the guide, who's leading the pack here on exactly how you fit into this whole new environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that particular class has been quite an evolution. We designed that course. The brainchild was props to Craig Schlottman, retired Air Force Colonel, good friend of mine, old A-10 driver. And, he and I worked as a veterans employment rep at the Pikes Peak Workforce Center. I was there for about a year through the recession.
Nice.
And we saw a deficit with those, the information being provided and the way it was being presented to transitioning service members. They were getting a fire hose. And props and much respect to the Transition University folks and the folks who are working in those environments to make sure our service members are prepared for the civilian sector. They do a great job, but unfortunately, they're constricted to 1 or 2 weeks of presenting all the material necessary for transition, including how to think about your taxes and just a whole litany of things you have to now consider that perhaps weren't a problem or consideration when you were still on active duty, where we really get in and focus on, now let's get your career in place. And I say career very purposefully because it's not just a job. We want our service members to come out and embrace a career. You can get a job in a minute. I mean, there's no difficulty. You can go get a job. But we help them, one, understand who they are, what they're about, and then how they can leverage their experience, training, background, and passions towards something that they might really find fulfilling as a civilian.
Now, I really want to elaborate on that because you talk about the transition from military life into civilian life. Now, how do they transfer what they learned as far as their particular career choice in the military going into the civilian world? How do they transition into that?
Well, that's just it. So we put them through, well, first we make sure they read What Color Is Your Parachute?
Very nice.
I'm hoping everyone's familiar with that particular periodical. Yeah, it's been on, they revise it every single year to make sure it's current, based on what it takes to get a job now in 2018 compared to what worked in 2005, because that's an entirely different world. But we want them to break out of the box in terms of, you've been an ABC or an XYZ. You've been a combat engineer, like my son was, for example, or you've been a air traffic controller or infantry guy, whatever you were. You don't necessarily have to stay and do that exact thing in the civilian sector. Right. No matter what you did, if you were in the military, one thing we were really good at is being diverse. I don't care what your MOS, your Air Force specialty code was, it doesn't matter. You had a gazillion other additional duties and responsibilities, and we can find correlations from those things that you did to help you get the career, the job that you want to do. Maybe we need to add some education, some training, some certifications and things like that. And we help them down that path of discovery. But we wanted them to find out right now, here's your chance. What are you going to do with the rest of your life? It's almost like graduating from high school or college. How do you now want to proceed? Don't just think you have to desperately grab onto the first thing you can get and be happy you have it. There is so much respect for veterans, and there's so much credibility amongst the veterans that added some education, and we teach them how to integrate too, how to work and play well with others. And what I mean is, and you probably heard me during my presentation, unfortunately, as I've worked with some of the veterans, they sit across the desk and they're immensely qualified, brilliant, incredibly talented people. But when they look at you, they give you the 50-yard death stare, because that's how we're taught in the military. We're taught to sit at attention and straightforward gaze, no shenanigans, no nonsense. And unfortunately, you scare the heck out of people as you're going through the interview process.
I remember that from boot camp. Let me tell you, if your eyes weren't focused straight forward, they were like, you're cheating over here.
That's exactly right.
But I remember that after boot camp when I got out, and they didn't have anything for veterans back in 1985.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
So I'm just kind of like fumbling around. Finally got an interview at Taco Bell, and I did exactly what you had said, have that military presence, the commanding presence, and the guy says, you're not fit for transition into civilian life. We can't hire you. And it's like, wow. Yeah. You have no idea what's going on back here. But you're right. Yeah. Veterans miss that because they've been conditioned for that for years.
Yeah,
that's
really
right. Yeah, they have to know how to be relatable, because you can be the best qualified person. You can have exceptional education, training, experience, but if the prospective employer doesn't see you as someone who will integrate well within their culture, they're not going to invite you in. They might want to, but they can't, because they don't feel like you're going to be a good blend, a good fit with the other staff, with the other employees, or blend well with the customer. So that's a huge component of what we teach in the Prep Connect process.
And if I can digress and expand for a second.
Sure.
So when we kind of spread this out for civilian application as well, let's say you never served in the military, but let's say that one of two things is going to happen. You're either going into a sales position or you're just looking for any kind of a job.
Right.
Two things to keep in mind is you have to, and Tony Robbins, I know you're a big Tony Robbins fan, is big on separating your previous story from your future potential. So many people will have this bad self-image, low self-image, and so when they go for a sales call, they're all kind of mealy-mouthed about it, and you don't want to buy anything, and it's like, you've got to change your entire mindset. Tony Robbins, and it's free on YouTube. The stuff I paid thousands of dollars for, free on YouTube. So go out there and get it. But he talks about how you change the presence, because like you talked about before, to digress even one step farther, law of attraction. Law of attraction is not metaphysical. Law of attraction is neuroscience. It's a matter of if you're being a positive person and a confident person, the brain is able to pick up on that and make an evaluation to see, are you credible and can I trust you?
Right. And Tony Robbins just came out with another feature, another show. I can't remember the name of it, but my coach, because we all have to have coaches, coach recommended that I watch his series, and it was on mirroring. How to walk people through a pace lead type scenario. And you can do that with customers, with clients, with friends, with family, with spouses. So in other words, you want to match someone.
Right.
You want to mirror their expressions, their tone, their mannerisms. Yeah. Am I going to relate better to you if I match your expressions and your mannerisms? If you're leaning forward, and this is right out of Tony's mouth. I mean, if you're leaning forward and you're nodding your head in agreement and your arms are kind of casual on the table, and I'm leaning back and my arms are tightly crossed, if you're talking slow and I'm talking fast, there's not going to be a lot of rapport rapport there. So again, these are all the things that we want our folks, our veterans, and frankly, anyone who wants to successfully engage socially or to get a job or whatever your aspirations in life. It makes sense to understand how to relate with people.
So let's go ahead and do a different example on that dating, right? Anything you do is a relationship, whether it's sales to client, employer to boss, whatever. It's relationship. So the easy one to think about is dating, right? Yeah. It's like when you're dating, think about how much you need to really focus and speak their language to win that person over.
Exactly.
You know?
And I know this is a G-rated show, but Tony was talking about intimacy.
Oh, right.
How he actually had people who would come to him for sex therapy. Years ago, he had a 6-month waiting list, he said. And the one thing, the gold nugget that helped people break through with their intimacy problems was to match breathing.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that
breathing.
Wild?
And you can take that to any level you want. Even when you're talking to someone interpersonal, having a conversation, is something as simple as matching their breathing, their tone, their pace, their mannerisms. You can't match an accent because that's going to come across fake, but you can match tone and pitch and the breathing. You'd be surprised how much rapport you can establish with someone. He even suggests you do an exercise in a restaurant, match and mirror someone next to you.
Yeah.
Every time they pick up a glass, you pick up a glass. And then, when they put it down, you put it down and match, how they're crossing their arms. And he said, do that for 5 to 10 minutes. And then you lead the way. You go pick up the glass and they will pick one up too.
Exactly.
They won't even be aware of it.
Well, we got to kind of match our time here and go to our sponsors so they can mirror that. So we're in your job, right? We know this now. We do this every single week, people. Come on, man. I'm just kidding with you guys. But you get the paper, you get the pen. Show them, Jerry, the demonstration guy here.
I'm sure.
And so you're going to hear the name, the phone number, the website. You write it down. You call them when you need the services. Profile Success. Chuck Bader, be right back.
Success Radio USA is always looking for ways to help you succeed. Whether it's offering a word of encouragement or sharing practical information that can give you the competitive edge. So you'll want to pay close attention to this. Our new sponsor, the 365 Grand Club, can give you the edge when conducting business in downtown Colorado Springs. You might want to entertain a potential client or just show appreciation to a loyal business partner. Either way, your new 365 Grand Club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. Your club card gives you access to discounts, business perks, making new business connections, and the convenient private concierge service that makes getting around town hassle-free. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Get yours this week and join the club, the 365 Grand Club.
It gives clarity to problem solving. It increases production and focus on the job. It alleviates sleepless and restless nights and fends off stress and tension headaches. No, it's not the latest energy drink or health supplement. It's Legal Shield. Get peace of mind every day, every night, now and forever. Legal Shield. Get it.
To find out more about Legal Shield and how it can protect your family and your business, call Andrea at area code 719-243-3174. That's area code 719-243-3174. Legal Shield. Listening to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is committed to helping you achieve a positive daily approach to your success each and every day. Thank you for listening.
Success Radio USA.
Welcome back to Profiles of Success. I'm your host, Chuck Bader, with the Bob Landry Show, Part 2.
Bob Landry Show.
The Bob Landry Show. Okay.
Special segment.
Okay. Start selling advertising for it, right?
Yeah. That was the whole secret intent behind this.
Now I'm on to your guys' tricks.
There you go. And I'm Jerry Evans. It's great to have all of you here on the program, and thank you for joining us once again on Profiles of Success. You can find us by going to our Facebook page at Success Radio USA, or by going to our website at successradio.us. We would invite you to register there with us for free, and you will get, are you ready for this? A free ebook download is our gift to you. And now that you are one of those who takes success seriously, you can subscribe to Success Radio USA for only a few dollars a month, which Chuck will fill in the blank.
$3.99, less than $1 a week. You can do it.
You're so wonderful at that.
Thank you.
That's why I let you do it. You know?
Yeah, checks in the mail, and you would know.
You can have total access to our show's archives on demand and our Success Library of ebooks, which are also free to our members. Go ahead.
When you're ready to learn, we're there for you from Profiles of Success.
Sounds like he's out on a golf course, right? Something like that.
Like you with your gator friend.
Well, I showed him my some pictures of my trip to Florida.
Oh, okay.
When we had the alligator that was up against next to the water.
Oh.
And I pointed to everybody and I says, "Hello, everybody in Colorado. This is our only spec gator that we've."
Oh, jeez. Mr. Wordplay should have had a rim shot for that one. But, here it comes. Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. And I called him Alligator.
Hey, there we go.
A couple more of those, you'll get voted off the island, I'm afraid.
I would, yes.
When do we take it back home?
Let's hope I never appear on Survivor, right? Okay, Bob Landry, it's great having you on the program once again. Did I not say that?
Did they say laundry? Laundry.
Did I say Bob Landry? I said Bob Landry. But anyway.
It's all good.
Okay, I'm sorry. But anyway, now I lost my train of thought. Okay.
That's the producer's job. Mess you up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've been talking a little bit about how you did that transitioning from the military life over to civilian life,
right?
And one of the things that I pointed out is like when you're coaching, like let's say basketball or martial arts or anything like that, you take the centerpiece of somebody and that's what you focus in on. Is that kind of the way that you approach this transition from military life to civilian life?
I don't know that I've made that mental correlation until you just said it, but maybe that's profound. The center of your mass in terms of how you're going to understand someone instead of just from the neck up or,
or the
I don't know.
down.
Maybe you're onto something there.
Well, if we can turn it into a metaphor and we actually think about heart personality kind of situation, what you're talking about before is all the amazing abilities the brain has to pick up on micro expressions and breathing patterns, things like
That's
that.
Right.
Because what's the brain's number one job is to keep you safe. So it's always looking for, is it a threat or is it a friend?
Right.
And so if you're like me, if you sound like me, kind of talk at my pace, breathe in my pace, then naturally my brain subconsciously is going to like you. And if I like you, I'm going to hire you, or I'm going to buy your product, or I'm going to date you or whatever. The relationship's going to happen if you build that trust, and that's the foundation of what that is.
That's exactly right. And that's why, again, props to and credit to Tony Robbins on that. He explains that masterfully.
Yeah.
When you can match someone and they can relate to you, like you said,
right,
they will invite you in whatever capacity that is. People like, and this is right out of Tony Robbins' mouth, people like people that they are like, or people that they want to be like. Mm-hmm. Those are the two categories. And he had everybody, hey, raise your hand if you like someone that you're not like.
Right.
I mean, just generally speaking, doesn't mean you're judgmental. It doesn't mean you're hating on them. But someone that you want to be in rapport with, someone that you want to be around, hang around, socialize with, is going to be someone that is either like you or someone that you want to be like. Mm-hmm. And that's profound. If you want to really take that back to anything you want to engage in, if you want to get a job, if you want a romantic partnership, then how are you going to be someone that they can almost see themselves in, or someone that they would prefer to be like?
And this is where we go back to a military thing, the 6 Ps. Prior preparation produces positive What the heck is it?
Spectacular results.
Something like that, yes. But anyway, the bottom line is that one thing we do in this society is we don't prepare enough. And this is one thing that you have to learn about getting the quality of life is you can't just wing it. You can't just put a half-hearted effort into it. I mean, imagine the Super Bowl, and this is just an analogy I share with people. The morning of the Super Bowl, the big star quarterback wakes up and he's watching the negative news and he's drinking coffee and eating junk food and having whatever like that. And you expect the guy to go out on the field not thinking, well, I can't win, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's the mindset. It's the mindset. I mean, if he had a mindset like that, what chance would he have of leading a team to victory? Not a chance at all. So what's the difference between what he does and what you do is that he prepares, he builds himself up, he visualizes the entire outcome, he's trained for it, he understands that for one game, you're probably going to have to play like 50 games and thousands of hours of practice just to develop the skills and what you talked about in your class, the muscle memory, in order to be able to perform the functions subconsciously, making it easier on this conscious mind, requiring less energy to perform.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You either prepare, you've got to have mindset, and you've got to do stuff. And Tony, again, go back to Tony, massive action.
Yes.
You've got to prepare the field, seed it, plant it, water it, and then expect a good result to come from it.
Right.
But you've got to take action.
Oh, yeah.
That is the mistake that many motivational speakers or those who have wished to engage in motivational practices, they think that, I can't remember if, it's been a few years, I suppose, but the one guy that was stuck in a gondola and it stopped in midair and they're all, let's just think really positive and this thing's going to start going again. And one guy behind him is just shaking his head and he goes, let me just switch the on switch back on. Next thing you know, see it work, positive thinking. But you do have to really work on your mindset.
Yes.
And you've got to first believe that you're capable and able to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
You've got to see yourself having that component of success. You've got to see yourself when it comes to the job interview. And obviously this is a huge part of what we teach our veterans, getting ready for that interview and seeing yourself successful in the interview before you show up for the interview. And if you're stressed, and this gets back to Chuck, what you're saying in terms of the muscle memory, if you're stressed over what am I going to say, am I going to have the right answer when you show up for the interview, you're not going to perform well.
Right, exactly.
Where if you practice, you rehearse, you know everything you need to know about you because, well, it's you, and you simply have rehearsed how you're going to answer questions and then show up like a blank slate. You know the best way to prepare for an interview when you're sitting in the waiting room ready to be called? Is to meditate or read a mindless article about something that's irrelevant, check your Facebook, listen to a song, do everything you can to not think about what you're getting ready to walk in and do. Mm-hmm. Because you've prepared yourself. You spent a lot of hours seeing yourself, envisioning, and your mindset was that you're going to go in there and perform a successful interview, and you see yourself as calm and poised and answering questions eloquently and asking them. And that's the biggest thing, too. We always teach them when you go in for the interview process, you're not being interviewed, you're also interviewing.
That's a huge part of it.
It is a huge part.
I agree with that because I think that's helped a lot of people achieve the success in as far as getting hired, whatever the case might be. So I totally agree with that aspect of it because you do have to not only be able to sell yourself, you also have to be able to see in them that they're selling something back to you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Am I going to be a fit for your culture? And are you going to be a fit for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think so often we show up and we decide we want a job, we decide we want a career. We go into the interview and I've got to get this job, I've got to impress them, and we lose sight of the fact that no, you should back away from that. First off, release the outcome. In the book I'm reading, and I'm going to throw out this, but then I can't remember the title of the book. It's how not to be miserable about anything. And it's a book, and if somebody could maybe look that up while we're talking, that'd be great. But it's how to never be miserable about anything. And he talks about how you release the outcome and not be so stressed about these absolutes that we subscribe to ourselves. I must. He said, be careful of your must and your shoulds. Your must and your shoulds. If you go into an interview, I have to get this job. And we use thought processes like, if I don't get this job, it's going to be the end of the world. I'll never get a job. No one's ever going to hire me. No one's ever going to want me. I'm going to spend the rest of my life looking for a job. Throw that out there.
Oh, that's it.
How is that it?
Is that the one, 11 guaranteed ways? Or is it something else?
It's a different one.
Oh, okay.
I'll look it up and I'll have to share that on Facebook or something. But it's how to never be miserable about anything ever again. And he is a psychologist who's been around for 40-some years.
And what about the word should? Because when you look at should, it's almost like you're creating a certain portion of negativity, right?
Right, and I think that's the distinction he makes is the musts and the shoulds. If you should, well, then if I go into a certain scenario, well, I should always be successful. If that should doesn't work out, then I'm a failure. As opposed to, I would really like it. Nope, that's not it either. We'll figure it out.
We'll get it later. Okay?
Right. Yeah, I should be successful at this, and everyone should approve of me. Everyone should accept me. And if I do I do a lot of public speaking. If I stand in front of a group of people, they should all appreciate who I am and benefit and tell me how great I was. Well, what if they don't? Yes, that's the one.
This one. Okay.
That's the one. Stubbornly refuse to make yourself miserable about anything. Albert Ellis. And he is the original father of Rational Emotive Therapy, RET.
Okay.
And brilliant understand. It's not the most exciting read you're ever going to read, but it's really insightful. And if you want to learn how to understand people better, relate to people better, but more importantly, and I read it as a coach, how to help my coaching clients process through their stuff, their baggage. As ourselves, if you really want to make a decision for yourself, how to stop being miserable, we make ourselves miserable because of how we think about stuff.
Yeah.
And we should ourselves and must ourselves to death.
Yep.
I have to find a love life. I have to find a wife. I have to find a husband. I have to get that job. And if I don't, well, and then we use these, we take these irrational leaps of conclusion to, I am a failure. I will never be successful. No one will ever accept me. I'm unlovable. And the good doctor here brings us back from that. No, how about you challenge yourself? Well, maybe it's a highly undesirable outcome, but will I survive? And he gets to the extremes. If your spouse passes away, if you lose a child, we use language like, if I lose him, I lose her, that'll be it for me. I'll never be able to live again. I won't ever be happy again. Well, how about it will be a highly undesirable outcome? It will be very painful.
And that's a good thing we want to pick up, and then we'll be back. In the meantime, again, get the pen and paper, write down the name, phone number, website of our sponsors. Use their services when you need them. We'll be right back.
Success Radio USA is always looking for ways to help you succeed. Whether it's offering a word of encouragement or sharing practical information that can give you the competitive edge. So you'll want to pay close attention to this. Our new sponsor, the 365 Grand Club, can give you the edge when conducting business in downtown Colorado Springs. You might want to entertain a potential client or just show appreciation to a loyal business partner. Either way, your new 365 Grand Club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. Your club card gives you access to discounts, business perks, making new business connections, and the convenient private concierge service that makes getting around town hassle-free. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Get yours this week and join the club, the 365 Grand Club.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal. It's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.
Hey, this is Megan, Cindy, and Sammy, and we are the Success Radio USA singers. Thank you for listening to Success Radio USA.
Success Radio USA.
Welcome back to Profiles of Success. I'm your host, Chuck Bader, along with the
Jerry Evans.
Yes.
Who? What?
The great Jerry Evans.
The great Jerry. Give me a break.
Well, at least it's not delayed.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, I used to play golf with some guys, and every year that we'd get together, because we'd always get together once a year to go out and play golf. And I said, well, it's time now for the 3rd annual Jerry Evans Memorial Golf Tournament. And they were like, it's not the Memorial Golf Tournament. And I said, well, it is in my eyes.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I keep getting older. So anyway, we thank you for joining us here on Profiles of Success. You can find us by going to our Facebook page at Success Radio USA, or by going to our website at successradio.us. We'd like to invite you to register with us there for free, and you will get a free ebook download as our gift to you. Now that you're one of those who take success seriously, you can subscribe to Success Radio USA for only a few dollars a month and have total access to our show's archives on demand and our Success Library of ebooks, which are also free to members.
Absolutely. And for $3.99 a month, which is less than a cup of coffee, you can start changing your life and changing your education. Now, one good thing about it is, let's say, for example, you have a problem now with watching negative news or social media with no purpose. At the very least, you subscribe to Success Radio, you start listening to our content. At least you're listening to something that's going to help change your mind, grow your abilities, and increase your value in the marketplace. So you can't go wrong for $3.99 per month. You're right. So, let's go back to self-image. And this is, I'm sorry, Bob's got a thought.
No, if it's okay, I want to divert just a little bit. You said something that's key. What you're tuning into.
Boom.
That is one of the very first things I dig into with my coaching clients and the veterans I'm trying to help. And you heard me with the class I did Friday. Mm-hmm. What are you watching? Right. What are you listening to? How are you engaging your brain? And why do you have the audacity to think that if you engage in nothing but negativity, you might tell yourself you have a great attitude, or you might try to have a good outlook, or even a good attitude of expectation in life. But if you're watching gory movies, negative movies, dark imagery, murder, slash, bang, blow up, all that stuff. And again, I'm not judging that if that's a balanced part of who you are in your life. And then all the news you watch is all the horrible stuff. I confess that I do read the Gazette every single day. It's a great newspaper, but what I don't read, I'll hit the article about the bus that went off the cliff, right? But I don't get into how many kids died and all the horrible things that I can't control.
Exactly.
If you want to be successful, you have to first start training your brain, your reticular activating system, like you've mentioned before on this show, like we talked about last time. You've got to teach and train your brain where to focus. And if you're consistently focusing on and thinking about things that are negative in the news and in your entertainment, you literally make it impossible for your reticular activating system to notice the positive things, because it's more trained on, fixed on, and just intensely focused on the negative things. It can't help it, and you can't control it. You might think you can. You might think you can make a decision to consciously, today I'm only going to focus on positive things. But if you have trained your subconscious brain to focus and think about the negative things, that is automatically by default where your focus goes.
And this is where it's so important because everything in the brain is simply a data file, is what it is.
That's right.
What you're watching, what you're thinking about. And the interesting thing is the negative, scary data files are stronger than the positive ones, because the brain is designed to keep you alive. And therefore, if it's negative, it doesn't know perception from reality, and it's going to perceive as being true, perceive as being a threat. And if all you're doing is doing this stuff all day long, you're going to be in such a negative mood. You're right. You're going to have to try to get out of that.
You stay in the reptilian brain.
Exactly, yes.
Fight or flight. That's it.
And really, it's a matter, and this is huge. This is where Tony really, and as well he should, really hammers people. It's like, you've got to make a decision about what's important in your life. You can't be straddling the entire time. You can't say, I want to get a better job, want to have a better life, want to earn $1 million, whatever it is. You can't say those kind of things and still be kind of playing on both sides of the field. You can't be reading Earl Nightingale and watching pornography. You can't be trying to develop yourself through Tony Robbins and then reading trash on Facebook and expect that you're going to have a good outcome. Because what's the one word that we're not talking about externally, the one word we're talking about internally that makes the biggest difference is integrity. integrity. You've got to be the same person behind the curtain that you are in front of the curtain. Otherwise, you're going to be so back and forth. You're not going to be stable when it comes time to make the big sale, make the big job interview, meet the spouse, whatever it is.
That's exactly right. And we've all met those people who we know have a crappy attitude, although they try really hard to convince us when they're talking to us, they don't.
Yeah.
It just bleeds out. And you can tell. And then you see them behind the curtain, as you say.
Yeah,
You'll hear people that know them and hear how, how grumpy they are, how just miserable they are, how they're so negative focused. And you can only fake so much.
Right.
You can only fake so much. And when you get these blessed souls that just try to represent that they're happy and positive and happy-go-lucky, they're not.
Yeah.
So you can only fake that so much. So we do have to consistently engage in positive activities and positive mindset, read good things, think good things, be around and talk to good people that have a positive mindset flow.
Now let's go back to Zig Ziglar. And the beautiful thing about Zig is that he would do two things very well. He would either take a thought that could be very complex, that would take a paragraph or a page to read out. The man would put it down into one little quote, or he was amazing at taking stories to make an analogy behind his point. Yeah. But the one thing you're talking about here that Zig said is that you got to put into your mind the clean, the power, the pure, and the positive.
That's right.
How hard is that? Not the Facebook and the pornography. The clean, the power, the pure, from the positive. You put that in, it's going to be automatic.
That's exactly right. And one of his favorite quotes from Zig Ziglar is, so they say motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily.
And you know what the beauty of Zig was? Is that before neuroplasticity was proven to be an actual concept, was that he knew these things. So when he talks about motivation, yes, it's a repetitive thing because you've got to build the neural circuitry in your brain to make it an automatic flow of positivity.
Yeah.
And the man knew that decades before it was proven to be fact.
And just for the record, I was motivated before I came here because I did take a shower. So.
Yay!
And I'm motivated to stay here because you did.
Yes. Yay!
I just thought we better clear that up right away. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I lost my train of thought. Right off the tracks on that one.
Well, we're talking about the integrity and about the fact that, if you're going to make it, and Tony Robbins, right, make a commitment. Make a commitment. It's got to be a must. It can't be a should. It's got to be committed that no matter how I feel, no matter what's going on in my life, if this is what I want to get, and these are the steps I have to take, I have to make sure that I'm creating the right mindset and the right environment to take the steps. I can't be just kind of doing them a little bit and then the next day falling off and trying to get back on. You've got to make that commitment to have no other choices. Burn your ships is what he says.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Integrity is a choice. And I think sometimes we look at integrity in terms of it's something when I'm being perfect and I'm being good and I'm being right all the time. No, integrity is being consistent.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Who you are when you're by yourself, who you are when you're with your best friend having a drink, and who you are in the public, those are all the same people.
Yeah.
That's integrity. When you're being disingenuous, you're literally being something different to somebody else compared to how you are over here.
Right.
That's a lack of integrity. And if you don't have that foundation of integrity, it's hard to have any level of consistent success.
Right.
Because you're not going to feel right about yourself. There's a disconnect somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And that's a big part of it.
Yeah. So how do we get to that place of integrity? How do we get to that place of consistency? Constantly challenge yourself. I probably don't do as good as I once did, but I remember years ago when I had a foul mouth. I'll be honest with you. I worked on the flight line. I was a crew chief. I was an aircraft maintenance guy.
So you like birds?
I love birds. Really.
Foul mouth.
And I really started to get down on myself because I realized I had a foul mouth on the flight line when I'm turning wrenches, and then I would get in front of my mother and I didn't.
Right.
Or my priest or pastor, and I was a totally different person, and I felt like a fraud. And then I had to ask myself, who am I being a fraud to?
Mm-hmm.
So unless I'm going to be willing to start talking like I do on the flight line to my mother or my priest, maybe I should switch it off over here. Or maybe I should add some consistency and some integrity.
Exactly.
And I found that to be true in some people, that once you talk about the fact that they like to present an image of integrity, but also when you look at the way they're presenting themselves to other people as, well, this blankety blank type thing, and then they go out and they say, but that person doesn't have any kind of faith. They don't have any kind of way of presenting themselves in a positive manner. And I see that in some people, and I wonder, well, where's your integrity? Where are you going with this?
Right.
Because a lot of times that's what happens with people that have that negative attitude.
Yeah, and I think you both know this very well. I'm sure many of the listeners out there do. It's people when the thing that most annoys you about others is the thing that subconsciously you feel you're challenged on, or that's a weakness of yours.
Yes.
If you get really annoyed with other drivers, you're probably an annoying driver. If you have this one,
I know a few of those.
If you have a character attribute, there's a character attribute out there that is extremely annoying. You should probably take a good look in the mirror, because I'll bet you anything you espouse some of those characteristics.
Yeah.
Or that's something that you can espouse and something you don't like about yourself, and that's why you're hypercritical about somebody else about it.
But you point that out and you find out who you want to be, and we go back to commitment, and this is huge. So think about when you've heard about the preachers who are great on Sunday morning TV, and then you find out about the scandal. How about the sports figures who you thought were so fantastic, and behind the scenes they're not? It's a matter of making a lifelong commitment that you understand, and this is what Tony Robb's about, and also Brian Tracy talks about. It's not what you achieve by pursuing a goal; it's what you become by pursuing a goal, and you have to figure out who you are. So let's look at two great examples. Tom Brady, Bronco player, right?
Bronco player, Patriots.
Patriots player,
I was going to say, wait a minute.
But he's one of the, I don't know sports at all.
Piece of news I didn't hear.
That's why I always have to, that's why I sit here to correct him.
Checks and balance.
But I've heard he's one of the best players in the league despite his age.
Yeah, he's 40 years old. Yes,
and I've heard the reason he does that is
MVP of the league last year, and he was that was at age 39.
Because despite his age, he's still putting in the same daily effort he did from day one as he does all these years later.
Right.
Now let's look at another guy, Jack LaLanne. Right. So you can have these guys who want to be on an exercise binge, and they make their money and they kind of maybe fall off and get fatter, like the high school football players that get fat afterwards when you see him at the reunion. But Jack LaLanne, his entire life committed to personal physical fitness.
Right.
75 years old, rode 75 rowboats across San Francisco Bay. So you've got to make a commitment lifelong. This is not a short-term thing. It's who are you, and you just got to live this out to your last breath.
That's exactly right.
I think we're going to be right back on Profiles of Success. We got 1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. All right, cool.
I was also going to point out, one of the things that Jack LaLanne was able to do, he did the fingertip push-ups, and he told a guy that was the host of a television program, he says, "I'll give you $1,000 if you can do even one." And that was truly amazing because he did 1,000 of them. And basically what it is...
He did 1,000 push-ups?
1,000 fingertip push-ups is what it's called.
Wow.
He extends his arms all the way out, and then he lifts up with the fingertips from his actual, instead of just like the regular tight push-up,
right,
where it's, at your chest or whatever like that, it's out in front of your head and completely extended. He was able to do 1,000 of those in a row, and he bet that guy.
That's crazy.
And so,
that's focus.
I mean,
so what reminds me of David Goggins. Did we speak about David Goggins on the
I don't know if we did last time.
That's an amazing job.
Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about not only David Goggins, but also the power of why. And that's going to be a great way to wrap that up. The power of why. This is going to be the starting point. So, why don't you get a piece of paper, and why don't you grab a pen, and why don't you write down the names, the phone numbers, the websites of our sponsors so they can keep paying for our show? We can be putting this on for you. We can sponsor this foundation and make the world a better place. Jerry.
We will be back.
For ways to succeed. Whether it's offering a word of encouragement or sharing practical information that can give you the competitive edge. So you'll want to pay close attention to this. Our new sponsor, the 365 Grand Club, can give you the edge when conducting business in downtown Colorado Springs. You might want to entertain a potential client or just show appreciation to a loyal business partner. Either way, your new 365 Grand Club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. Your club card gives you access to discounts, business perks, making new business connections, and the convenient private concierge service that makes getting around town hassle-free. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Get yours this week and join the club, the 365 Grand Club.
Hello, I'm Chuck Bader.
And this is Jerry Evans.
And you're invited to join us on Profiles of Success, where we feature stories of successful businesses and successful individuals.
You can find us on TuneIn Radio, SoundCloud, or Stitcher by searching Success Radio USA. Or go to our website at successradio.us.
Our current program is available every day, 2 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday. We air new programs on every Monday. These are programs which are designed to guide you along your path of success, to provide you with the information, the inspiration, and the motivation to achieve your goals. Right here on Profiles of Success on Success Radio USA.
to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is your source for inspirational, motivational, informative, and life-changing daily content. Thank you for listening.
Success Radio USA.
Since the producer just gave me the finger, we're back on Profiles of Success with Chuck Bader and your host.
Remember, this is a G-rated show, okay?
Well, see the assumption you made, and we'll go into this later, but he gave me the finger by pointing, saying, here's where you go on, and this is the finger.
Finger of direction and
Finger of
encouragement.
direction, yes.
Direction
and
and
what have we
encouragement.
done? Where's
That's
the
all I
mind
saw.
down the gutter,
Thank
Mr.
you
Evans?
for joining
Come
us here
buddy.
on Profiles of Success. You can find us by going to our Facebook page at Success Radio USA or by going to our website at successradio.us. We'd invite you to register with us there for free, and you will get a free ebook download as our gift
Use
to
that
you.
word free a lot.
I love that word.
That's a good F word.
Where it didn't cost anything.
Exactly, yes.
Now that you're one of those who take success seriously, you can subscribe to Success Radio USA for only a few dollars a month, which in fact is what Chuck is going to tell you exactly how much it is.
$3.99, less than a buck a week. Pocket
And you can have
change.
total access to our show's archives on demand and our Success Library of ebooks, which are also free to members. There you
And when
go.
you're ready to grow and listen, we're there for you. From Profiles of Success.
See, sounds like he's on the golf course, doesn't he? He does that.
So what they want to, we have a little playful banter during the breaks, which should be recorded, but you can't record it all. But Ziegler had a situation, real life situation, that illustrates what you talk about. So Bob gives this class on Friday. Bob has tremendous presentation out there. I mean, he's got volumes of stuff out there. And the thing that shocked me about this, the thing that burned me up about this is like, why, not from you, but from your students, it was a waste of time. Nobody got out the pen and paper. Nobody wrote it down. You can't tell me, because studies show that you're going to forget like 80% in 2 days, that it's like, this is great information. People just sitting there. So here's the great story about Zig. Ziegler's getting ready to go on stage 10 minutes before the show. His assistant comes in and said, Jiggs, there's this lady who's just falling apart. She needs to see you. Can you work her in? 10 minutes before the show, the man brings her in there, and she starts complaining about how bad her life is, how bad this is, how bad that is. And he says, okay, well, I need you to do this. And she says, okay, I'll do that. And I need you to do that. Okay. She wasn't writing it down. He said, okay, hold on a second. We're not going to keep on doing this unless you start writing it down. And she fought him for like 5 minutes out of the 10 minutes. But the point was, that's what people do, is they listen, but they don't write it down to take the action.
That's right.
Finally, he got her to do it. And a month later, she followed up with him. Her entire life changed because she wrote it down. She took the steps and she followed through with the action. That's where the coaching comes in.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so much of the effort I put forth when I teach that class is to get people to pick some of the resources up that I reference.
Right.
All the books that I reference and the techniques, the Sean Acor, the Carol Dweck's, the Tony Robbins, I want people to pick those books up and start reading for themselves and taking massive action on a daily basis. I cannot tell anyone anything in an hour and a half class that's going to make a hill beans of difference in their life unless they take and start doing something with it. Here's what typically most people do. They pay thousands of dollars for seminars. They buy tickets. They go to Seattle. They go to Chicago. They go to Florida, wherever. They fly all over the place to go to these huge seminars to get fired up and excited about stuff. And here's the phenomenon, though. You have notebooks of pages and pages of notes and things that I'm going to do this. Oh, yeah, that sounds great. That looks amazing. That's phenomenal. Have to do that. And then you get back to your life on Monday morning and it seems to be exactly as it was. You look back at the pile of paper in the notebook for all the notes you took and think, oh, let me get back to that. And of course you never do because it's too overwhelming, because you think I can't possibly go back and implement those 3 days worth of things that I learned. So you do nothing. Mm-hmm. So when I teach the class, I'm very methodical and I repeat myself a lot when I say, take pieces of this and do one step at a time. But you've got to have this core part of your day that you implement. If you're going to have any level of consistent success, you've got to start working on that mindset. And I give them very, very specific assignments on how to do that. And then again, go read Sean Acor. Go read these great great teachers and thought leaders on how you do that. Get up, positive reading, prayer, meditation, affirmations, gratitudes, and exercise. Do that and have it scheduled. If it's not in your schedule, my boss Tom Ferry says this all the time. If it's not in your schedule, it does not exist. I get my coaching clients and people I mentor, my own kids tell me, oh yeah, Dad, I'm going to do that. Oh sure, Coach, I'm going to do that. Well, is it in your calendar? No, but I'm going to put it on my calendar. But no, you're not. I said, I'm going to wait 30 seconds. Take your calendar out right now and put it in there, because if you don't, it isn't going to take place.
Yeah. I got a great example of that. And I remember a long time ago, I had a friend that was smoking cigarettes, and his mom found out about it. Now, of course, he's about, 18, 19 years old or whatever at the time. And so she just politely came up and she goes, so are you smoking? And he said, yeah. So she says, oh, well, when are you going to quit? And he said, I'm fixing to quit here pretty quick. And when I heard that's his way of saying, I'm not going to do it, because if you think about that, when somebody says something, I'm fixing to do that, or I'm ready to do that, I'm going to do that, a lot of times they don't do it. And I think that's a great example of what you're just talking about.
I don't let my clients off the hook by saying they're going to do something until they tell me and show me where it's on the doggone schedule, because it's simply not going to enter their world.
And here's the things I'd like to throw out to you is one thing Zig talked about that is that if you keep on doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep on getting what you've been getting.
That's exactly right.
So for your clients, one thing that I would recommend, it's a free class, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what I would say to them, if I was going to be bold and just really be audacious, and say, okay, I'll tell you what, if you come back to my next class and you haven't shown me what you've done to act on the previous information, don't come back. Because what's the point? You just go in there for entertainment is what that is. Just like you said, you fly out to the seminars. Oh, it's fun with the music and dancing, but it's entertainment. That's not going to grow you and help you develop.
That's right. Take incremental steps, but take definite steps.
Yes.
And if you're going to implement one thing.
Yes.
One thing.
One per day times a year is how many?
A lot.
365.
You're going to challenge me to do math and tell you how many days are in a year? That's crazy.
Every 4 years.
Most people don't. Day.
Yeah. The overwhelming majority of people who go to seminars and gain information like this do nothing except agree, get excited, and bob their heads a lot, and clap when they're told to, and stand up, and they jump up and down, but they don't implement anything. So I feel it's a huge success if I get them to do one thing. Maybe that one thing is start to meditate every day. That's fundamental, by the way. Foundational on healthy mental health. Or one thing, write those affirmations out. Or stop the crappy news every morning.
Right.
I mean, you start your day with the horrible news and how the world's going to heck in a handbasket, and it's not. We live in the most prosperous time in human history.
Right.
Crime rates are down like 70-80% since the 90s. We live in more prosperity and more peace, and there's more wealth than ever in human history, but we think the world's just going to heck in a handbasket because that's all we hear.
Exactly.
Don't focus on that garbage.
Yeah. Because it's just garbage.
And it's not even true. It's not balanced. Are there bad things going on? Sure. Are there things that require attention or action? Sure. But if you're focusing your balance, if all your thoughts are only on that, and you have an unhealthy perspective of your world, you're not going to see the good things. And again, you're training that rat to think it's all. And there's a lot of people out there. I would say the majority of the population is walking around right now thinking we live in horrible times.
Oh yeah.
Horrible times. Oh my gosh, the world, the ice caps are melting. People are shooting each other everywhere. All this horrible. But in reality, it's the exact opposite.
Right.
We live in the most peaceful time in human history, and we can go on and on, but where's your focus? Because your focus and attention determines your attitude and emotion. It's as simple as that.
Well, let's go ahead and make a distinction on that from Stephen Covey, and you talked about this before, but let's go ahead and specify it. So one thing Covey talked about in his book, The Eighth Habit, going from effectiveness to greatness, is that you have to pay attention to two circles in your life. One is the smaller circle, which is your circle of control. The other one is your bigger circle, which is circle of concern. So the negative news, things you listen to or watch or participate in, if you can't do anything about it, don't be engaged in it.
That's exactly right.
And when you get rid of all that stuff, then it's like, okay, so my family, my job, my whatever, this is what I can control. That's where you need to put your thought energy and your time and your creativity into.
Right.
So if you make that distinction, okay, and this is, people have hammered me on this for years. I don't listen to the news. I don't read the newspaper. I don't know what's going on in the outside world. And whoa, hey, I survived, right? If it's big enough, people tell me about it, and it creates a great conversation because they're telling me they're feeling important. I'm getting educated. So here's the thing. You can actually live without listening to news. But it's true. And so as a result of that, nature hoards vacuum, right? You can't have a vacuum. So if you don't listen to news, what are you going to fill it with? Audiobooks, positive material, meditation, whatever.
Make your car a traveling university.
Oh, my God.
You spend so much time in your vehicle stuck in traffic, everything changed. Or when you're in the gym. This morning in the gym, I'm watching a Tony Robbins podcast.
Right.
Instead of just random stuff.
Good morning, America. Yeah.
Whatever. And again, I'm not bashing any of that stuff, but it's where's your attention focus? How are you using your time? And people tell this to me all the time. I don't have time. Don't have time to read. Don't have time to watch podcasts. Horse pucky. I mean, you've got so much time in your car. You've got so much time that you sit and waste. How many hours do we spend in traffic a year? That is university time. That's time where you can really capitalize on putting some great information in your head, start retraining your brain. I love what Sean Achor says, by the way. He said, people with a negative mindset orientation keep flipping their mindset to justify their negativity.
Oh, yeah, because it's identity, which Tony talks about.
It is their identity. Yeah. It's their identity. They're committed to it.
Right.
Don't you dare try to talk them out of it.
Right.
They could win the lottery, and a person with a committed negative mindset would say, well, that'll never happen again, or I'm sure I'll lose it, or now all my family's going to come after it. They will find the most positive thing, and it doesn't matter what positive thing happens, they will flip it to a negative.
Well, here's another great example, too, that makes it very easy, is you go back to Disney, right? Eeyore. Could Eeyore ever be positive? No, because that's his identity. Now, he could change, but changing would be very difficult for him.
I like Eeyore. I think he's got some potential.
He's got, let's hope so.
If he starts implementing some daily activities, I think he's got a chance.
Takes around Piglet.
He needs to follow Christopher Robin a little bit more, don't you think?
That's right.
But no, if you just have these ideas, like, are you, how closely, when you think about yourself as a negative person, how much do I associate with an Eeyore versus a Piglet? Right. Piglet's peppy, happy, very positive.
How about a Tigger?
Well, there you go. That's the most positive.
I think Tigger is probably the most positive.
You guys are going down a dark hole.
Well, no, what I'm saying is Tigger is a very positive image if you really think about it, because he's just a bundle of joy, And
that's exactly right.
Well, I'm bringing this up not just because I'm going nuts out here, but it's actually based on a book. I think it was called Winnie the Pooh on Management, and it's actually where it's a business publication that goes through all the personalities of these characters in the workplace, and so it just helps people identify easier. Here's a person that's very negative. Here's a person that's very positive, and it helps them categorize better.
Yeah, and I said this on the last radio show. You guys were gracious enough to have me on. I'll say it again. People tend to like to hang around people who are positive more than they like to hang around those who are negative. And here's another freebie. Pick the 5 closest people that you hang out with the most, and I'm going to show you who you are. So if you're looking at the people you associate with the most, and you can surmise that they have crappy attitudes, that they're negative people, if their income, their attitudes, and their lives don't reflect what you want, maybe you should actually start looking at getting some different associations.
And there's another study that talks about you earn within $2,000 to $5,000 in income of the people you associate with most frequently.
That's right.
Whoa.
Hang around with successful people with successful mindsets who are making good income. But here's the trick. Don't just hang out with people that have money. Hang out with people who knew how to serve people well, and that's how they got money.
Yeah.
I want to be around people who created their own businesses. I love Marvin Rush. God rest his soul. He just passed away. He was married to my cousin. He owns the Peterbilt, the Rush Empire.
Wow.
And he just passed away. Came from dirt floor poor and built that company. And he built it by serving on an incredible level, building businesses. Peterbilt is all over the planet right now. Tens of thousands of people likely employed have careers because of the work, the passion, the point of service that Marvin Rush gave. So that's my props to my cousin's late husband, and those are the people you want to be around for sure.
Exactly. So as we got to wrap it up here, would you come back on a third time?
I sure would.
How about a fourth? No.
Yeah, well, I'm seriously, because this is in action, because Bob is serving at the Veterans Center at Mount Carmel, providing information on this stuff. So we want to really put this stuff out. I mean, 20 years of education, you really are getting focused on what are the key aspects of making this change in your life.
Absolutely. I'd love to, guys. You guys are fun to hang out with, and I love the energy.
You don't mind my dumb jokes?
The dumb jokes, let me get back to you on that.
An exception there.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we just want to thank you for being part of this. But again, like we talked about before, it's not the big changes, the Grand Canyon leaps you're going to make in your life. It's the daily choices to eat better, to take a little time to exercise, and to be careful about what you put into your mind. That's very important. Ziegler talked about that.
That's right.
So we want to make sure that you go onto YouTube, look up Tony Robbins. Easy step. Anything by Tony is always good. And And every day, it takes about 30 minutes tops. While I'm in the shower, I'm listening to Tony Robbins. That's my free time right there. Tony calls it net time, no extra time. But make sure that you do something or anything every single day to say with me, guys, keep moving forward.
I thought you were going to say shower with Tony Daly.
Woo!
Success on Success Radio USA with Chuck Bader and Jerry Evans, brought to you in part by the 365 Grand Club, Colorado Springs' only elite urban downtown club. So start enjoying the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today at 365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. God bless you all, and see you next week on Profiles of Success. Listening to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is committed to helping you achieve a positive daily approach to your success each and every day. Thank you for listening.